What is going on, Alpha Hunters? Hope everybody is having a marvelous Monday start to the week. Hopefully, you had a marvelous weekend, or maybe a wonderful weekend. Nice gap up here today on the SPY. Obviously, you can see the end of the day there on Friday. Nice little quick pump, a little quick drop. But we had a nice little, about 1/3% gap up there on the SPY. Just kind of very steadily, just been trading higher throughout the day. Some pullbacks. Nothing crazy kind of going on. We are currently up 2/3%. So had a 30% of gap up, and we moved higher by about another third on the intraday. Take a look at the Qs. Qs, not really much of a gap today. Pretty much flat open, but it has pushed higher. We are up 0.5%. We on the Qs are getting really close to that all-time high number, and maybe we do it today. I doubt we do it today. I mean, it's hard to see the market continue to pump higher the rest of the day. It's already moved pretty good. Tomorrow seems to be very plausible, very plausible. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what kind of goes in store. But yeah, just expect the Qs to probably hit all-time highs sometime here in the next day. Probably at least early first half day Wednesday. Be an easy answer to that one. IWM, a little bit of a higher open, quick sell off there on the open, quick little pump, and kind of rolled over. Been kind of squirrely today. Basically flat. All right. DIA basically flat, a little bit positive, kind of choppy throughout the day. I got the hiccups. RSP basically flat open, a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of a pump. It's been had a little pullback here the past hour. Nice little push higher the past 20 minutes. Okay. Okay, all the markets kind of look like they're trading separately. They're not really trading together, except for Qs and SPY, but kind of makes sense. Let's take a look on the daily. Take a look on the daily. Oh, SPY. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I mean, Q's hit all-time high here pretty soon, and I mean that might get the flurry of everything, kind of just ripping. Obviously, we know last week the Dow Jones hit all-time highs. DIA kind of resting. DIA was very bullish last week. Well, last Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, there's the Dow Jones kind of resting after breaking out to all-time highs. Hit a new all-time high actually today, getting above last week's highs. RSP very much looks like a flag pattern, just pulling back here the past couple days. All right. Yeah, a lot of things, huge moves last week. A lot of things just seem to be resting for now. Nothing crazy kind of going on out there right now. VIX, yep, kind of mentioned this on Friday. Easy buy, sell on the open today. Buy on the Friday close, sell on the Monday open. It's like easy money right there. Dollar, a little bit lower wick. Take a look at Treasury auctions here a little bit later. See what's kind of going on with Treasury stuff. Gold kind of hanging out. Not a lot of not a great deal of movements going on there between dollar and gold. 10-year yield, a little bit of a bullish move there today. Okay, 10-2 inversion. So the 10 years outpacing the 2-year. Okay. We'll take a look at that 2-year here in a sec. HYG. Still having a hard time getting through this level. Still kind of consolidating here, and I kind of mentioned this last week. It was not the best time to get bullish as we got to that kind of top there. Kind of mentioned, if we do consolidate here, we get that breakout. That's what you want to take that breakout if we consolidate up in this zone. But if we wind up, if we were just gonna break through, you want to get it on the retest and then take it. So for right now, it looks like we're consolidating. Looks like we're gonna consolidate here. We'll see what happens when these moving averages come up to it. Maybe we don't see anything happen this week. Might just consolidate this entire week. All right. HYG, not doing a whole lot. All right. LQD, possibly reversed. It looks like it needs to pull back a little bit more. Yeah. Tough time to tell. I mean, if you're going to try and go bearish, there's no better spots, especially with the TLT hitting where it did. So, I mean, not one that I would be willing to take. I'd rather see some little bit better of a setup into the bearish direction. But that would be a very aggressive type of setup to go bearish on. And you'd probably want to have a pretty loose stop loss. That way, if it got through here, you can have a couple different spots where you can move it to. But I mean, I mean, it's got it ripped it pretty good. So there's some plenty. Let me just take a look at this. So like, if we move the stop loss, let's say we put it up here. So how much room would we have back to that bearish direction there? So like, if we got all the way back down into this sideways action, risk reward is almost a 2. I mean, that's almost a 2. And that's the thing is, like, I mean, we got the stop loss pretty high. I mean, you can move it down to different spots. We got this spot you can put it at, or this spot. So that's part of it, is just trying to find really good risk reward. It's a pretty solid, support and resistance level that it just kind of flew right up to. So it definitely, it's definitely an aggressive play, but it's got to get through there. And then once it gets through there, I'd imagine it's not going to keep just shooting higher. You're probably going to have some opportunities, and that's the thing, is if it would break through here, especially in the near term, you probably get to these levels, and then you probably get the pullback, and then that's probably you would exit, right? So you probably wouldn't lose much. You would just go and exit, looking for that kind of a pattern to set up, or that kind of price action to kind of happen. So yeah. Anyways, TLT. This is one reason why being bullish on bonds is really tough, mostly because the TLT just screamed to this resistance level. But I would want to see a little bit better of a setup. But I mean, I understand being aggressive on some things like that, especially some of these moves on yields and bonds that are some of the craziest. I mean, already had moved like 100, not 100, about 80 basis points or so, 80, 90 basis points from the highs in about a month and a half. And then you just dropped off 30 basis points in 2 days, essentially. And it's just crazy. You don't see that too often. Anyways, enough bonds and yields. All right, let's take a look at that sector rotation. Oh, let me take a look at that 2-year. So yeah, 2 years flat. This thing threw a pretty fat lower wick on Thursday, Friday. Nice little bit of a bounce there. But what's kind of interesting about that lower wick is it kind of came right into this high. Oh yeah, you remember all this time period? This is that regional banking issue. So it kind of came right into that high. So obviously there is some kind of support. Some people sitting there supporting, the 2-year yield in that area, okay? Or it wouldn't have thrown a huge lower wick like that. So, yeah, just kind of an interesting look. Maybe it breaks back down. I'm sure it probably does. But would it be temporary? Possibly. Let me take a look at sector rotation. All right, sector rotation. If there's anything you guys want to look at, let me know. Take a look at whatever. Okay, there you go. That works. So XLC communications outperforming the most. So we'll take a look at Alphabet, Meta. Discretionaries looking pretty good there. Also outperforming. Staples outperforming. Energies outperforming pretty good. Now you take a look at energies, and I would bet this is probably the most underperforming sector on the day, or at least definitely down there. You see the energies had a huge gap up, but they have faded pretty good. So when I adjust this here in a second, we'll see energy is probably lagging the most. XLK Tech is outperforming. Financials, healthcare, industrials, materials, all outperformers on the day. Nope, I'm sorry. I was comparing that to Apple for whatever reason. Okay, communications is the only sector outperforming for the day. My bad. Yeah, discretionaries, staples, energies underperforming. Discretionary is kind of in line, but staples, energies underperforming. Um, Tech, financials, healthcare, industrials, materials, utilities, and REITs underperforming. So you take a look then at taking out that the daily gap. You see, yeah, energies definitely the days underperform. We'll take a look at crude, see what's going on there because the XLE had a pretty good gap up there, but you can see that intraday price action is definitely dropping off pretty good. Utilities also underperforming. Materials, healthcare, REITs, industrials, and financials underperforming. In line with the market intraday, basically is tech outperformers intraday. Discretionaries, staples, and communications. XLC there. Okay, let's take a look at Senor Crude Oil. Ooh. Crude oil tried to make a bounce, throwing a nice little upper wick. Wow, there was some volatility this morning. All right, I think I know why, what was kind of going on here. So if you hadn't heard, there was a rather big time change in shipping around in and around the Red Sea. What I'm gonna see if I can find it. So what basically happened is a lot of shipping freighters, the big cargo ships, container ships, they have now changed their course. They are no longer going through the Red Sea, through the Suez Canal. They are now going to be going around the southern part of Africa, around Cape Hope, I believe is called Cape Hope. And that probably had a lot to do with some volatility going on here with crude oil. I'm sure there's probably volatility going on in other commodities or other areas of the market.